You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. That is so true. It does not matter who the host is. Today is Friday, February the 18th of 2022, day 49th of the year. Yeah, already 49 days into this thing. And only, the Austin 316 only left to actually get everything done and over with. So I guess that's one way to take a look at the move and the groove of things as we are talking. So I hope everything was fantastic for you in the overnight and you are having a grand old time on this Friday. So I guess the question becomes right away, is this a 3-day weekend for you? Or is it a 2-day weekend? I mean, I'm just wondering out of curiosity. Some people have off on Monday, some people don't. We'll see how that goes for you. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we, of course, are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do things at.
Radio.
Yes, of course, we are hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm, doing the things that they do over there that we get to do over here. Anyways, today is Freeform Friday, so what does that mean in the scheme of things, in the change of things, in the world of things? It kind of goes into this fashion now. So what will end up taking place is that we will go wherever you want to go with the show. So all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Yeah, that's callinradio.com. Put inside of the little messaging services right there, or inside of the actual video call portion, or the audio call portion, and we will go wherever you decide to move forward into. So it's really up to you as how we go throughout the day. So I guess that's the good part. There will still be some segments that kind of still end up being similar or the same to some of the other stuff that we do, just to make sure that we have something, because could you imagine we were just sitting here looking at each other like this? Well, if you're not on camera, well, then that won't matter because you can't see me anyways, and I'm just an audio content, which that's the way it should be, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about what was trending in the overnight. Hashtag Random Acts of Kindness Day was all over social media on Thursday as users share the small things they did to make others smile. Elvis was trending after the trailer of the biopic about the king dropped. The flick stars Austin Butler as Elvis Presley. And, of course, Tom Hanks is in it, because Tom Hanks is in a good chunk of things. What else did we see? Stranger Things was trending on Thursday after the show's creator made an announcement about the upcoming season. which essentially tells you that it's going to be split into 2 parts, and after season 5, it's done. So there you go. Joy Behar was trending. Also, in regards of yesterday, we can talk a little bit more about that in here in just a little bit. And then what else was going on? Chuck Yeager. Yeah, Chuck Yeager was trending on Thursday. Would have been his 99th birthday. Yeager would have been, was a United States Air Force officer flying Ace, and recorded setting the test pilot who, the 1947, who became the first pilot in history confirmed to exceed the speed of sound. So there you go. That is what he did. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick in case you have nothing planned for the weekend. I got some movies for you that are coming out on the streaming on-demand services. New to Amazon Prime will be Love 3. New to Hulu is The Feast and The King's Men. So there you go. New to Netflix will be Don't Kill Me. Well, that's a good idea. Also followed by The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was before the Don't Kill Me portion, I guess we would not know for sure what exactly to do. Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on inside of there. As you know, we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. So it's a combination of things that are going on. Sometimes you have to do the searching on your own. So keep that in mind as we are talking as well. So a lot of stuff going on, like always, around here, because it's always fun when you have a lot of things going on. That's for sure. So let's bring in my friends from Feature Story News and let them tell you what is going on inside of what the main news services are talking about. And we will go from there. And here is the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Germany is accusing Russia of Cold War demands over security as world leaders meet in Munich with Ukraine top of the agenda. The US continues to warn Russia could mount an invasion of Ukraine at any moment. Moscow denies it's planning an incursion. Large parts of the UK are feeling the effects of Storm Eunice, which could be one of the worst storms in decades. The Met Office has issued red weather warnings for several regions, meaning there's a threat to life. A number of bridges and schools have been closed across the country, and all trains have been cancelled in Wales. Carney Bonner is an emergency response manager for the British Red Cross.
We've helped to set up rest centres, so these are places where people are able to go, seek shelter if they need that, if they've been evacuated from their homes or if they're on the streets. Also making sure that they've got warm clothing, blankets, flood supports as well, because if you leave your house in the middle of the night or as these storms have happened where there's been no power or electricity, we've been in places where we've been able to provide that power and support remotely.
Millions of people are being advised to stay at home on Friday. The Hong Kong government's considering a mass city-wide testing program as part of efforts to curb a growing outbreak of COVID-19. Richard Kimber reports from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is already undertaking multiple mass testing initiatives in areas deemed to be potential virus transmission hotspots. Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam says a city-wide testing strategy for the whole 7 million population is also on the table, but only once health authorities have beefed up the scale of their testing capabilities. Health officials from the Chinese mainland are currently visiting Hong Kong to help plan how to make that possible. Carrie Lam hasn't made clear whether a citywide lockdown would be imposed during the exercise. Some health experts say that's the only way to make the testing initiative effective. But so far the government has said it's unnecessary and that its smaller-scale isolated lockdown measures on specific residential buildings has been sufficient to identify potential new transmission chains in the community. Richard Kimber in Hong Kong.
India is urging the world's largest economies to increase multilateral funding by global institutions to be better prepared for future pandemics. India is highlighting that lower-income countries don't have the resources to cope with such challenges, as Rebecca Bundan reports from Mumbai.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told her G20 counterparts in a virtual meeting that low- and middle-income countries require global support to face any future pandemics. Ms. Sitharaman said that the world's 20 largest economies should make an effort to boost multilateral funding by institutions including the International Monetary Fund or IMF to prepare for such challenges. She said that the World Health Organization also needed to do more to reduce the impact of a possible future pandemic. Rebecca Bundan, Mumbai.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. 2 more states are ending their mask mandates as COVID cases fall. New Mexico starts right away, but school districts can decide for themselves. Washington will wait until March 21st and then allow schools and businesses to issue their own rules if they want. A new round of meetings begin today in the Ukraine crisis. President Biden will host a call with NATO allies as he warns Russia could invade in just days. Vice President Harris is in Germany to lead the Munich Security Conference and will talk with Ukraine's president. A judge is ruling former President Trump and his 2 children, Don Jr. and Ivanka, must sit for a deposition from the New York Attorney General's office. Lisa G. reports.
Attorney General Letitia James issued the subpoena last December, saying the Trump Organization had misled banks and insurance companies in pursuit of loans and favorable interest rates, as the Trumps accuse her of orchestrating a witch hunt in a bid to further her political career. James said the family was trying to avoid explaining under oath why so many of their golf courses and buildings have wildly different values. Lisa G., New York.
The Justice Department is going after companies that exploit supply chain disruptions by overcharging. They're specifically looking into those that collude with competitors to fix prices or wages. Officials will also work with the FBI to prosecute those involved. A former Minnesota police officer who killed a man during a traffic stop last year will find out her sentence this morning. Trey Thomas reports.
Kim Potter was an officer for the Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center when she shot Dante Wright last year, saying she confused her handgun for her taser. A video showed her yelling taser several times before shooting the 20-year-old black man in the chest. She was convicted of manslaughter, and prosecutors are seeking a sentence of just over 7 years.
Dow futures are higher this morning. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. So let's start talking right away. Days after Justin Trudeau issued the executive action that allows the government to freeze bank accounts without a court order, the government has started doing just that. Rebel News from Canada confirms that a man named Sean Zimmer traveled to Ottawa to join the truckers, and now he cannot access his bank account. Like, how the hell did they know that you were there? Like, were they tracking your card? I mean, that would be the other question. What if you had other things going on? Anyways, the Canadian government has ordered companies that process cryptocurrency transactions to stop facilitating funds between at least 29 different accounts. Cryptocurrency remains highly unregulated, and this is a gray area for what jurisdiction the Canadian feds have, if any, so to make such an order. So that's something to think about. And the Canadian Civil Liberties Union has announced that it's suing the government over the blanket emergency authority order on the grounds that it had started to implement. It has done so and adequately met what needed to be done. In the same news, while protests swelled last weekend and dwindled throughout the week, local police have been spotted conducting training exercises near the perimeters of the convoy, where hundreds of truckers remain entrenched. We'll see what happens there in regards to what's going to happen this weekend, because that's going to be the other portion that we'll need to take a look at. And then, of course, rumors are swirling that the truckers not participating in the Ottawa protest will begin a work strike across Canada until the mandates end. Meanwhile, in Mexico, New Mexico governor has announced an immediate end to their universal mask mandate. So I'm telling you, as we are having these discussions, I think that town there in Canada is having a bigger impact across the board than what we thought. I mean, let's just be realistic. This is subjects of conversations that continue to go on and on and on, and more people seem to be joining that general movement of the conversation. It makes you think about a lot of things that are going forward, that is for sure. So what is your thought process when you start hearing these things? I don't know what your thought process is. That's why I asked the question. But it makes you think about a lot of things that are going on. Think about it in that fashion.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, currently 19 after, Elon Musk has issued an official letter with a U.S. district court accusing the government of harassing him and his companies with investigations because of his critical of their policies. Musk attorney alleges worst of all, the SEC seems to be targeting Mr. Musk and Tesla for unrelenting investigation, largely because of Mr. Musk. Why can't you just say Elon? It sounds so much better. Remains an outspoken critic of the government. The SEC's outsized efforts seem to be calculated to chill his exercise of his First Amendment. Worth noting, there is no legal mechanism attached to the letter, but it's a good way for to make a lot of noise. So definitely, if Elon is trying to get the attention, well, I think he has just done so. Not that he's done so, he has just done so. This is to make sure that we're clear on what we're saying. Okay, a cargo ship with Porsches headed to North America was on fire Thursday at the Atlantic Ocean. It was just off the coast of Portugal en route to Rhode Island. Early reports indicate that 22 crew members were rescued and nearby ships were diverted from the area. The Japanese shipping line that owns the cargo ship has arranged to tow the boat. As of Thursday evening, no word on the status of the fire, on how it got there and how the damn thing is going to be towed back to the port. But I guess that's a whole other conversation that we can have at some point if we're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's do this before we get into the next thing. Let's bring in some Johnny Smalls to talk about what is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, February 18th, 2022. Equities reversed course again Thursday as geopolitical tensions came back to a simmer. The crisis in Ukraine is at the heart of events and could boil over at any time. Conflicting reports have each side shooting at the other, and nothing is confirmed. The takeaway for the market is that the crisis is not going away, and it will likely impact market action over the next week, if not longer. In economic news, jobless claims rose more than expected and counter to seasonal expectations, while on the housing front, permits and starts were a mixed bag, showing the impact of high demand and tight supply. Friday's market action will likely be driven by the index of leading indicators, which is expected to show cooling from the previous month. The S&P 500 is down about 8.3% from its all-time high and within striking distance of setting a new low. If the index falls below 4,300, it could easily shed another 500 points within days. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the world there. That's always important for us to know because, who doesn't want to keep up with what's going on with the market? Anyways, let's talk about let me talk about this. So the Dow dropped 622 points Thursday, closing at 34,312. The NASDAQ shed 407 points, closing at 13,716. So you start thinking about what the hell exactly is going on, and that's going to be some of the questions that come about and go about and all that other kind of fun stuff. So some things to think about. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Check your recent purchase of canned Skyline chili. It might be cream of chicken soup. The manufacturer has issued a recall on 2,500 pounds of the product that were mislabeled. To make things even worse, the mislabeling also means that the cans aren't compliant with allergy warnings. So check your can of a lot code L2121. Yeah, L2121, and a product code of CHCATUYPY. Yeah, that's going to be something memorable. No one has reported getting sick from the product so far, but it is mislabeled, so it could lead to some very interesting things down your neck of the woods that I'm sure you don't want to encounter. So that's some stuff to think about. Think about that real quick. You're going to open a can, and all of a sudden, boom, you think you got some chili, and the chicken soup pops out. I guess that could make it pretty interesting in a way that you don't want to make things interesting. So let's start seeing some other things that are going on out there inside of the world. Did you hear about this one? Breakdancer stabbed on the L train. Yes, the search continues today for the man who stabbed a breakdancer aboard the L train in Brooklyn on Thursday. Writers say the violence was out of control.
I'm just in shock. It's scary and it's sad. As a woman in New York City, I'm always looking out for my safety.
There's a homelessness problem in New York City.
The 22-year-old victim was stabbed in the leg around 2 p.m., not a.m., p.m., on the 3rd Avenue station. He was breakdancing at the time of the attack. The dancer was rushed to Bellevue Hospital in stable condition. The attacker, who is believed to be a homeless person who got off the train at First Avenue stop and fled the scene. Police have made no arrest. But, I mean, it is something just out of the ordinary and out of the randomness of things that are actually taking place that, of course, we need to bring up. So let's start talking about some other things as well as we are talking this morning. FBI forms cryptocurrency unit. Take a listen to this. A cryptocurrency increases in popularity. The FBI is forming a new unit to deal with those special challenges. Rory O'Neill has more information.
Concerned that as cryptocurrencies grow, so do the chances for crypto crimes, the FBI is putting together a new team to investigate the cases. Prosecutor Un Young Choi will serve as the first director of the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. She says as the tech surrounding digital currencies grows, the department must accelerate efforts to stop crooks and scammers. DOJ attorneys with backgrounds in crypto, money laundering, and cyber crimes will be assigned to this new unit. I'm Rory O'Neill.
So are you interested in this whole crypto thing? Are you involved in it? Are you doing stuff already with it? If you are, or if you are not and you want to take a look into it, I got some weird, I don't know if I want to say it weird. We're starting to do some stuff with this organization here, so I'll talk about it real quick. If you go to safetyfm.com/iHub, that's IHUB, that's safetyfm.com/iHub, I can't even spell, IHUB. There is some information on the Internet of Things and some dealing with what we'll call crypto mining. It gives you some information. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. I found it pretty interesting. I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought it was a pretty nifty idea on how the whole thing played. So just my portion of view on what is going on inside of there. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Diminishing COVID may lead to normalcy. The Richmond and Enrico health director says that we may be headed towards a more traditional lifestyle as COVID begins to dwindle. Kathy White reports.
A local health official is optimistic that we may be able to return to a sense of normalcy this year. Dr. Melissa Varre is the director of the Richmond and Henrico Health District. She took questions about COVID on Thursday at the Tuckahoe Area Library. She says 2022 may not be as disruptive as the last 2 years because case numbers are going down. Varre warns, though, we may need another booster shot due to waning immunity. I'm Kathy White.
So what do you think about that now that you hear that things are dwindling, things are moving, and potentially the need of another booster? How does that make you feel? Well, let's start off with some important questions. Have you gotten the vaccine? If you have, did you take both shots? And did you get the booster shot? And how do you feel about getting a fourth shot? And if you stand on the other side of the house, what do you think about the whole thing from the first place? What was your thought process from the very beginning about when this whole thing started? I'm just asking the question because, hey, some good stuff to come about and so on. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff. The House panel wants Trump D.C. hotel lease terminated. A House committee is urging the federal agency to consider terminating the lease of ex-President Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. Trey Thomas has more details.
A letter from the Oversight Committee cites the decision by Trump's longtime accounting firm to sever ties with the Trump Organization. The letter to the General Services Administration says Trump may have submitted inaccurate financial information to the federal government to obtain the lease for the hotel on federal property. The hotel reportedly lost tens of millions of dollars when Trump was president, and the lease has been put up for sale. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for that one and what is going on inside of the world. As we are talking real quick, we did find this weird one here, and I don't know how much you're going to care about it, but let's talk about it. Scientists are creating a library of underwater sounds. Teams of the underwater science experts are documenting sounds from the world's oceans, rivers, lakes to create a library. Michael Kastner reports.
The Global Library of Underwater Biological Sounds will include the sounds made by underwater creatures like whales, dolphins, and fish. The library also will store underwater sounds made by humans as well as the swirl of ice and wind. Of the 250,000 known marine species, scientists think all 126 mammals emit sounds and at least 100 invertebrates and 1,000 fish species are known to make noise. I'm Michael Kastner.
So imagine that the next time you're hanging out at the beach, so on, all of a sudden there's somebody out there, doing some recording of taking a listen to what exactly is going on inside of the water, and it is trying to record any kind of noise that you and your body might make. That's something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, here we go. House assesses improvement in Capitol Police Force after the attack on the Capitol. Lawmakers are assessing improvements for the Capitol Police Department after last year's attack on the Capitol. Trey Thomas has more information.
During a House hearing, Capitol Police Inspector General Michael Bolton said there have been significant upgrades, but argued that the work is far from over. He said key issues still need to be addressed, involving training, intelligence, cultural changes, and operational planning. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, take a listen to this real quick. Stolen Amazon trucks crashes killing street vendors. In Los Angeles, one man is dead and 2 people are hurt after a stolen Amazon delivery truck crashed into a building in South Los Angeles. LAPD detective Juan Campos says that Amazon driver may have left the truck running while making a delivery yesterday afternoon.
The fob's supposed to stay on the driver, and they're supposed to turn off their truck. For whatever reason, there was a system failure, and the guy was able to turn on the truck and take off with it.
The man who was killed after getting pinned between the truck and the building was working as a street vendor at the time. After the crash, the driver hopped out of the truck and ran off. Witnesses saw him and directed the police to where he was headed, leading to the arrest a short time later. So that it gets into one of those weird things there. Of course, the key fob portion, did he leave the truck running? Did he not leave the truck running? And then you have the whole portion of the vehicle being stolen and, of course, someone dying, which is the important part of what actually did occur here. This is where it gets strange. This is where we get, the weirdness of things of, well, what kind of systems might have been in place to prevent something along these lines to occur? What kind of safeguards, what kind of capacity does the system have to be able to move forward from it? I think this is going to be some interesting questions in the coming days of what is going on directly at Amazon, but I have a feeling that you already knew I was going to say that.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world because, we just have news after news after news after news that are going on. I'll talk about this real quick because I was kind of surprised about it to take a listen here. Willie Nelson is canceling some upcoming indoor concerts. Take a listen why.
On the road again.
Yes, he is, but only if the shows are outdoors. Statement from his rep says we're canceling our indoor headline shows until the COVID situation improves, as the safety of the audience and Willie and his touring personnel are of the utmost importance. All March shows have been canceled except for one, Willie's annual Luck Reunion show on March 17th, which is held at his ranch outside of Austin, Texas. His rep says when we are able, we'll look to make up the shows when possible.
If you got the money, honey, I've got the time.
I'm Michael Kastner.
So there you go. Here is an artist very well known, very well established, all of a sudden saying, if it's indoors, I'm not doing it. So let's take our concerts outside because that's what he wants to do. So let's talk about this because now you're starting to see some people saying, okay, mask mandates are going bye-bye, but also at the same time, too, now you listen to someone like Willie Nelson who turns around and says, hey, I'm not doing any indoor concerts. I am only going to do outdoor concerts. It's kind of an interesting mixture of things. That is for sure when you start taking a look around of what is right and what is wrong. So I don't sure. Anyways, let's start talking real quick about some other stuff. DMACC is donating laptops to refugees. In Des Moines, Iowa, the area community college is announcing a large donation to Afghan refugees. Here's some more information.
The college is saying they are donating 50 laptops to refugees across central Iowa. An interpreter for the refugees said at DMAC's campus in Des Moines that the computers are possibly the most valuable gift the families can receive right now. DMAC has also donated over 300 laptops and iPads to local children in need over the past year. I'm Paul Rubidoux.
Okay, thanks, Paul Rubidoux, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of here. So let's talk about it because, of course, we are 34 minutes into the hour. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. SafetyFM.com. So here you go. Woman killed, man and baby injured in early morning East Secret house fire. A fire investigator will try to figure out what ignited the blaze in the house early this morning that killed a woman and injured a man and a baby. Noam Latham has more information.
Firefighters raced to the home on Old Town Road just after midnight. A man and baby pulled out of the house amid the flames, then rushed to Stony Brook University Hospital to treat burns to their bodies. A short time later, a woman was found dead on the second floor of the house. No word yet what sparked it all. Noam Latham, NBC News Radio, New York.
It's always interesting taking a listen to what is going on inside of the different portions of the planet as we are talking about what is happening with people out there. Imagine waking up to something like that. And that's one of those weird things that we talk about is what exactly is your plan for your home if something was to go awry? And that's something that most people don't have a plan for. Like right now, if you are in your home, do you know where your fire extinguishers are located? Do you have fire extinguishers? And what is the plan to get out? And what is the meetup area if things were to go not too well? That's the other question. Maybe that's something that if you don't have it in place is something you should start thinking about. Anyways, it is 35 minutes past the top of the hour. We'll be back right after this.
Radio. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
But you are not alone.
Okay, there you go. Spin for me. Spin for me. Make circles for me. This song is by Flux Vortex. Song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So thank you to Flux Vortex for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated R Safety Show. And by the way, thanks for all the Twitchers over there hanging out. I see you all. How you doing? Anyways, let's continue going and moving and grooving and all that. If you want to jump in onto the show, have some commentary, callinradio.com, that is for sure. Some interesting stuff coming in through the box. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue. Let's continue talking. You know, some of the stuff that comes in sometimes I can't mention on the air. Not with a straight face. I'll put it to you that way. So let's start talking real quick. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I'm going to tell you throughout the whole show, and probably the most important thing, and the thing that will probably get you in my bad graces right away. If you start shitting on it, realistically, let's just be realistic. So, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. That's the information on if you are struggling. And now let's be realistic here. When we start talking about that, if you are struggling, it can be you, or it can be someone you know, or it can be anybody else in between. It's getting the knowledge base of what you need to do when you come into these difficult times. And the interesting part about it is that a lot of people don't want to sit back and talk about this information on how crucial it is. Because people deal with depression and struggle with depression and suicidal thoughts, not sometimes, but a good chunk of times. And the amazing part is that you always take a look around, or at least most people take a look around and have that opinion that, you know, if I see a person that is suicidal or depressed, I know what they look like. I know automatically that this is the person and what, you know, and what's going on. And that's not the case. You don't know who's struggling. You don't know exactly who's going through what. There's assumptions that can be made. I mean, there are some people that you can go with that were stars in Hollywood. There are people that were known in the social media space, just as an example, that they seem like happy-go-lucky people, and they were extremely depressed and committed suicide. So when you start thinking about these things, you never know on how this is going to apply and where you might need this information. So, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255, or 741-741 by texting the word TALK, or just going to afsp.org. That's afsp.org. So there you go. I always think that that's so important to talk about. So let's start rolling into some news again on what is going on out there. Let's talk about some movies that are opening up today. Uncharted comes out, PG-13. Street Smart Nathan is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Magellan. So there you go. I have to tell you, Tom Holland's going to have some big expectations on this one. That another movie, PG-13, is called The Dog, that comes out today. And then The Cursed, rated R, another movie that comes out today in that particular regards. Okay, so let's talk about it. Brouhaha. Scientists say that they have cracked the code on the perfect non-alcoholic beer. A team from the University of Copenhagen say that after years of research, they've come up with a way to produce a small molecules called monophorus. which provided a hoppy flavor and aroma of a non-alcoholic beer, lacks, and they have added them to a beer in the end of the brewing process. No brewer has been able to be able to correctly do this before. The scientists also point out that they're brewing so much more that it's so much more sustainable that they could be applied to a brewing regular beer. So they have invented the American beer that tastes like Canadian beer, is what it sounds like, for sure. Are you a big beer fan? Like, seriously, like, is that a taste that you would enjoy? Like, would you go somewhere and say, I think I want a non-alcoholic beer today? I'm just asking. I don't know. Anyways, a massive new beer spa is opening in Ontario and will be the largest in the world. The website Masako Beer Spa in Cottage Country in North Toronto says that it will feature an outdoor pool, 2 large hot tubs, and dump buckets and 4 saunas in the nature setting. You can grab a beer from the outdoor cocktails, but you can attach the craft brewery and enjoy a lounge areas around the pool to sit in the beer garden. Guests will be able to stay cozy cabins and include draft beer tap in the room along with wet bars, but it's not all beer and burping. Think about Nordic spa experience with beer festival twist. The beer spa will have mobile treatments including massage therapy. There will also be yoga and mindfulness classes. Sorry, no beer allowed there. Live music events are also planned. The Masaka Beer Spa opens on April the 7th. You had me at beer and at spa, but Maseo at beer, so I don't know. Some things to think about if you're into that kind of thing. You know, we're always talking about you need to take time on your own and do some things that you might enjoy doing. Well, I think I might have one for you. Okay, let's talk about some news of the weird real quick. Here we go. A museum security was bored on his first day at work and ruined about $1 million painting by drawing eyes on the faceless figure on the faceless figure, depicting what was considered an artwork. Anna Leprosky's 3 figures painted in 1930 was on display at Boris Yeltsin's Presidential Center in Russia when someone noticed that the 3 figures had been depicted by an avant-garde piece. 2 of them had now small dots in the eyes. An investigation later revealed that the unnamed security guard who was on the first day of the job got bored and drew eyes on the painting at Yeltsin's Center with a pen. The man who worked at the private security company has since been fired and faces fine and jail time. Officially, he's been charged with defacing the faceless. You get it? Defacing the faceless? Seriously?
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's continue talking real quick. Tesla owners have now been banned from making their cars fart after the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that it's a violation of safety standards. As a result, the electric car maker is recalling nearly 579,000 vehicles in the U.S. Tesla vehicles have what the company calls a boombox function, which allows drivers to play sounds through the external speaker while moving, effectively turning it into a boombox on wheels. The feature debuted in the software update of 2020, presented as an increased pedestrian visibility through the warning sounds. One of the warning sounds included a fart setting. Yeah, it really did, allowing drivers to draw attention to their cars as the sound of flatulence. So draw attention. This explains a lot of my crazy Uncle Larry. So I will tell you, I have seen several videos online where people put the flatulence sign, not to say the word fart, of course, onto the blinker. So you would turn the blinker on, and all of a sudden, the car would start farting. So some people liked doing that and thought it was hilarious. So I don't know. I don't know where you stand with it, but that's something to think about for sure.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, did you know attractive people have better immune systems? According to a new study published by the academic journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B, researchers recruited 150 women and men and had their photos rated by 500 other volunteers. The researchers correlated that those rating and cross-examined them as a result of their blood test. They found that more attractive participants' blood was found to have better functioning immune processes. What does that mean? As the study led and put it, people who got out of the bar, a bar looking to talk to someone attractive are often dismissed for being shallow and told that it's not always about the looks, but they are really just following their instincts of high quality mate. So there you go. I don't know what exactly all that means, but hopefully you do, because I was definitely lost in translation, if anything. Anyways, let's talk about the Motivation Minute, because I think we're close enough, so let's bring in Johnny Smalls for that.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Robert. Oscar Wilde said, "Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them more." This is one of my favorite quotes. There's two reasons why. First, I think it's important to forgive others. It's actually biblical. And second, I've had a front row seat to witness the second half of this quote more than my fair share of times in my life. One time, I walked across a room to a guy that was avoiding me to shake his hand and thank him for being at the event. The room quieted as I approached. I think some people thought I was going to slug the dude. When I thanked him for being there, he was speechless. It felt great to do it, for all the right reasons. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. New research shows that it's literally never too late to make a lifestyle change to create a meaningful impact on health. A lifestyle change from sedentary to 20 minutes of moderate or intense daily exercise as late as 7 years old, and that's 70, reduces the risk of heart attacks, coronary heart disease, and heart failure by 52% in men and 8% in women. Women doing more physical activity also had lower overall mortality risks. Mechanisms underlying the beneficial effects of physical activity on cardiovascular health may be due to enhanced mitochondrial function, restored and improved vascular conditions, and the release of myokines from skeletal muscle that enhance or preserve cardiovascular function. For additional research and information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 52 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out doing our little giggity gig thing. So there you go for sure. What else do we have going on real quick? Let's talk about them. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $64 million jackpot or a $42.2 million cash payout. No winner for Wednesday night's Powerball drawing. Saturday night's drawing will be for a $31 million jackpot or a $20.7 million cash payout. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there. What else do we have right here going on? We'll keep that one for the other side. We'll talk about that when we get to Jay Allen in the morning. So if you want to listen to some other things that we have going, you're more than welcome on coming over to RadioBig.fm and hanging out. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Logan Miller turns 30. Lee Vion turns 31. Courtney Act turns 40. Jillian McMichaels turns 48. Molly Reginald turns 54. Dr. Dre turns 57. Matt Dillon turns 58. Vanessa White turns 65. John Travolta 68. And Yoko Ono, she turns 89 today. If you're looking at some things that happened back on this date, let's see. Bourbon maker Maker's Mark responds to the public backlash after announcing that it would dilute its product due to the supply shortage. The company said that they will reduce the liquor contents from 45 to 42%. In response to the backlash, the company said tremendously humbled and acknowledged the power of its customer base. That was back in 2013. Something to think about for sure. Anyways, if you're looking for some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you right now. It's National Battery Day, National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day, National Drink Wine Day, No One Eats Alone Day. You've never hung out with me. National Caregivers Day. I guess that did kind of coincide with each other, now that I think about it.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick. Sunshine can work as a natural antidepressant. On average, a 150-pound person burns about 114 calories per hour while standing or doing nothing. Eating spicy foods can boost your metabolism and cause your body to burn more fat. Sonic the Hedgehog's full name, well, I don't know if I could really say it, but it's Ogliv Maurice Hedgehog. Nintendo's trademark of the phase is on like Donkey Kong back in 2010. Cattle are the only mammals to pee backwards. Please somebody explain to me what that means to pee backwards. So there you go. Over the week, I have been watching some weird stuff on Netflix about dating apps and all this kind of stuff. So I figured it might be time to talk about some bad dating app names. So if you run into an app and they have these names, probably don't use them. Your next ex, leftovers, fatal attraction, living with parents but looking for love, STD, spare time dating. Who's your daddy? Cheater. Any port in a storm. It's all relative. Gold digger. Lowered expectations. And plenty of catfish. Think about that. If they have that name, probably dip the app right away.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so I got one for you before we get into this weekend stuff. I got the 1 minute devotion.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1 minute devotion. Once we understand that all of life is infused with the presence of Jesus, every experience becomes sacred, and each one, no matter how mundane, an opportunity to encounter Him. The beauty of nature, the birth of a child, the majesty of a great piece of music, a wedding, a special book or movie, even the death of a friend or a family member, all become opportunities for Him to reveal Himself to us. Take a moment now and remember those times when you encountered Him, especially in the most unexpected ways. Luke 24 says, "Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized Him." Lord Jesus, open our eyes so we can recognize You. In Your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. The 1 minute devotion there. It is currently 57 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's see. What else? If you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. Cleaning up with children around is like shoveling during a blizzard. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What do you think is the greatest invention of all time? If you need something for the water cooler, try this as the question. Men spend about 42 minutes more than women each week doing this. What is it? Eating. Yeah, think about that. That's what they do more of. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and Safety.fm or SafetyFM.com or whatever you want to take a look at it. Thank you for taking a listen, because we can't do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Happiness makes up in height for what it lacks in length. Think about it in that fashion. Anyways, God willing, I will be back on Tuesday. I'll see you then. Have a great time. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Here is the news on the Rated R.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.